Welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up.
The line's wrapped around the stadium.
Different strengths. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
But a lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to.
He look crazy, Bill. Good feet on the old man.
Definitely come back.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome into a Wednesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show. As always, built by our friends over at RMB Builders, Rhett Bourgeois. RMB-Builders.com is where you can find him online. And you can find him on Instagram at RMB Builders. Check him out there. Whether you're looking for a remodel, you're looking for a brand new house, you're looking for an add-on, you can get in touch with RMB Builders, RMB-Builders.com. Our phone line is brought to you by Metropolitan Health Group. Real doctors, real solutions. We were set to check in with Jacques, just like we are every Wednesday. Jacques down in Hoover, getting set for first pitch between LSU and South Carolina coming up at 9:30 this morning. As we said, that'll be a part of our Metropolitan Health Group phone line. Real doctors, real solutions. Charlie Harvey and Jason Ramazan. Tigers going to play South Carolina. South Carolina down Georgia yesterday, and Jay Johnson made it official yesterday afternoon, stating that Thatcher Hurd is going to get the start.
You called
for LSU. Yeah, look, man, every squirrel can find a nut every now and again. I mean, I was just kind of throwing it up against the wall. But
it seemed like you knew
really
what you were
talking
talking about.
really just kind of the schemes thing. You know, I mean, if you're
Yeah.
just kind of doing the math backwards here, and you know what you have in Paul Skeens, and you want to keep him on schedule, right? I think you take care of him. And again, like we said yesterday, I mean, this is a big spot for Thatcher Hurd. He answered it last weekend at Georgia on the road. Hopefully that did immense for his confidence, and he can carry that over into this game here this morning in the opening game for LSU in the SEC tournament. I get the sense that there's not a huge emphasis this week on taking the title home from Hoover. It's
From
more,
LSU or from
LSU.
everybody? Okay.
Yeah, from LSU more. Jay Johnson and the crew. One thing that I'll never question about Jay Johnson is his competitiveness. He always wants to win. He wants to, he's trying to win every time he goes out there. But I think he also understands that, at this time of the year, certain games mean more, right? And this particular week, while they'd like to perform and they want to execute and they want to, compete, they want to get some things figured out. You need to win and stay alive, right, to get those things figured out before you get into elimination series that could cost you your season. I mean, this is the real last week of the year that you're guaranteed to play more baseball. They know they're going to play next weekend. If they're not ready next weekend, and they can't take care of business, then their season's over, right? It's definitely over again in 2 weeks, right? For super regionals, and then you go to Omaha where, it's all on the line. So
this is the game that never happened. I just realized David brought that up last night, and I was like, oh my gosh, it is. Like, that's so weird that it ended up working out this way, that it's South Carolina.
They'll play a third game.
Yes. Like, it's like it completes the season, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that strange?
But speaking of Jay Johnson and the SEC tournament and LSU not wanting to stay long, they asked him about it yesterday. Jacques had the tweet, and Jay Johnson said, well, the team can do 2-a-day practices in Baton Rouge, or we could play in the SEC tournament. They have the choice in that matter. So that just tells you everything you need to know about how Jay Johnson feels about the SEC tournament.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I think what he's saying is we have to get work done this week. We can either do it against other teams,
Or we could do it at
or we
home.
can go home and do it against ourselves. So I mean, like, he's telling his team, like, hey, it's up to you. I mean, and I think that's the time of the year that we're in, right? There's no more, and I don't mean this in any demeaning or disrespectful way, but there's no more babysitting. There's no more there's no more holding hands and wondering if somebody can get it done. For Thatcher Hurd last Friday night, his LSU pitching season was on the line, right? Like, do you want to do this anymore? That's ultimately what Jay Johnson was telling him. Like, you need to go back out there and you need to figure this out. We gave you the ball up and pretty safe and secure that they were going to win the game, and you've allowed this to happen. Now you need to get us out of this. And he did. And hopefully, what LSU, I think, by giving him the ball today is telling him is that, hey, you did it last weekend. We believe in you today. Now go back out there and even grow that confidence even more, because LSU needs you. They need you to perform maybe later this week, but definitely next weekend, the weekend after that, and then, into the national championship tournament. So, that's where LSU is at this point. There's no more curiosity. There's no more wondering. From Christian Little's standpoint, I think he's run out of real estate, right? Like, they tried to give Christian Little every opportunity to get to be a part of the rotation for the postseason. And now LSU might be so desperate that they'll have to go to him at some point, but you can tell that, man. Like, they've given you a chance, and it's just you've not performed. Right? And at this point, you got to take the performers out. You got to take the performers and you got to go compete. And that's where they are in this season. Now, they don't have as many options as they would like. Obviously, they would like a lot more to choose from, or, just a couple of more arms, maybe Chase Shores and Garrett Edwards and, guys that they missed out on due to injury. But you got to dance with the crew you show up with, and this is who they're bringing to the party, and whoever's performing is going to get a chance. And Thatcher Hurd, you're up. First things first, you're up.
Man, I'm nervous for him. Did y'all catch any of Missouri Auburn last night?
I did not.
It was all right.
Who won, Auburn?
Yeah. 10-4. But it was a game for a little while. I started watching the top of the fourth, and Missouri was like hitting. Like, they were looking good. Auburn was upset, but then they came back and won it. Not many people there. Like, not a big crowd. I guess
raining.
the weather. Yeah. Did y'all see Mintz run into the Vandy Whistler?
I thought that guy was dead.
We did think he was dead, but that was
but I think they lied.
They lied. That was like its big joke. Because
Yeah.
we talked about it on the show. I remember the day, and I was like, y'all, the Vandy Whistler died. And everybody's
joke.
like, R.I.P. And he's not dead. And he pulled up in his truck that had Whistler. Like, have you seen the truck? It has, like, Vandy stuff all over it, and it has Whistler, like, on the door, like, sticker. It's wild.
So he's not
People hate
dead.
that, man.
He's not dead. He's
Should be.
alive and well and at the tournament, as usual. And he did the annoying whistle out the window at Mintz.
Gross.
I know. That was weird. I don't know why people said he was dead.
Hayden Parrish, the carpool queen, watches more sports than anyone else on the show. This is true.
I think I do. I have to. It's the only way I can keep up.
This is true.
Yeah, I guess.
Very much so.
I watched random sports. I watched the things that y'all didn't catch. You're like, why did you watch that?
I did watch some Celtics Heat last night.
Yeah, I did too. That was fun.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it.
Jason Tatum's hairline is really bothering me. I don't understand it. What is it?
It's too far back.
It's very straight right
Maybe
here.
it is too
Help
far
me. Like, why, Stewie?
Let's see.
Like, because he has, it's like your hair, but with this weird straight hairline that goes across the front. That's like, it looks like even a different texture of hair on the forehead. Really bugs me. It's all I could look at during his interview.
He had a great game last night.
He did have a
I
good
mean, he just has like shorter hair in the front.
Yeah,
Like,
I guess.
Like me, like it's just shorter.
I know,
in the
but
front.
then why would you comb it down and make like
Well,
this weird little line?
That's like how they like have to make the lineup.
I guess.
To, like,
I wish
because
he
like
would
if they
just comb
cut
it
it,
back.
if they cut it off, then it would look weird. Like
Yeah,
it would
it
look,
Comb it back like
it would
yours.
make his forehead look like it's like really
yeah.
big. He'd
Is
look
he
like
losing his
Derek
hair?
White.
Is that what's going on?
He's not really losing his hair. It's just like my hair doesn't grow.
I think he's letting you know that he's not losing his
I
hair.
guess so.
Like my hair just.
I
Doesn't
mean, like
grow right
LeBron's.
Yeah.
LeBron he couldn't have a front line.
He couldn't.
here. LeBron or like KD.
I
like,
mean,
they don't
his
have a
kept
front
his
line.
kept running away from him.
Right.
Oh my
And
gosh.
he tried to restore it.
He did. He did the
Yeah.
surgery. He
It's-
did the whole thing. It
Oh,
looks
he
a lot
did?
better.
LeBron
does.
did?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize he did that. Okay.
Well, LeBron's a billionaire.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, at this point, LeBron.
I know.
Didn't he do that like in his Heat days?
Yeah. No, he got out in front of it like
'Cause-
real. I want to say like maybe even like Cleveland.
Yeah, because like
Oh, man.
one year like the
Because
headband.
I mean, if you see him, he's always got the headband
Yeah.
on when he's off,
I
so
was
he
about to
tells you he's
say.
got something on under there.
Yeah,
That he's
yeah,
yeah.
that's
he's
right.
manicuring.
'Cause-
He's doing something
Yeah.
under there.
Because one game, like one year, the headband came off, and it was
Right.
like, oh,
Yeah.
LeBron,
Everybody's
Yeah.
shocked.
LeBron, put it
Are
back
you
on.
28 or 48, bro? Like,
And I think that kind of got to
no,
him.
it
like-
did. You can tell it got
like,
to
all
him.
right, let me go get this
Because
thing
he
done.
did have, I mean, he had like an old man receding hairline.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
now it looks a lot better.
Yeah,
You know
it
what I
does.
mean?
It really does.
Billionaire.
But that was a good
Glow
game
up.
last night. The Celtics are weird. What is going on with them?
I mean, they knew they had to win last.
Yeah, I mean
night.
that's professional athletes with your back literally up against the wall.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like you're it's life or death for
Yeah.
you. So
But they've
you know,
been
I mean,
such a roller coaster, I feel
yeah.
like, this season.
And like I said, I mean, their coach Joe Mazzulla. I mean, he's extending his life by the day here. You know, what I
Yeah.
mean, whenever they get knocked out, he is done.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, like good
Turkey
thing for
cheek.
him. He won. They're gonna take him back to Boston. You get a ride back home, Joey. Hop on the plane.
My key card still works.
Yeah.
Have
I
we
mean,
changed
hey,
how we...
Tatum, you mind if I walk in with you? You mind if I squeeze in this parking lot with you? I don't know if my card's gonna work.
Who do we think is going to win it all now? Have y'all changed like your course on that?
I think it's gonna be Denver, Miami, obviously
Mm-hmm.
in the finals. I mean, Jokic is.
It's hard to
I
bet against
know.
Jokic, but like
It
it's
really
also
is.
It's
hard.
hard to bet against Jimmy
I was
Butler.
about
It
to
is.
say, it's just like
I still don't know. I haven't decided.
It's gonna be a good finals, man.
I thought I've been saying Heat the whole time, but like God, the Nuggets. But I don't really want the Nuggets to
I
win.
mean, it'd be the
I want
Nuggets'
the Heat
first
to win.
championship, right?
It's the first
It
time
would
they've been in
be.
the finals.
Yeah,
Yes.
I want Jimmy Butler to win. I just like him so much.
So does Doris Burke.
Yeah, Doris Burke loves.
Yeah.
She
loves,
does love some
loves
Jimmy-
some Jimmy Butler.
Some Jimmy D. I mean, some Jimmy B.
Yeah.
I did read Nick Underhill's observations yesterday on the Saints OTAs, and I got to be honest, man. I hate to bite the bait here, and I know that everybody teases me and says I'm a sucker for everything. But, I mean, when you look at what the Saints have done here in the offseason and what they've done in the draft, it definitely looks like Derek Carr and Chris Olave's chemistry is something that they have been working on in the small time that they've been together and then continuing to work on now that they're at OTAs. But also, you kind of look around here and, you know, I mean, they've gotten a little younger in spots. They've got some new faces out there. It was good to see guys like Jamal Williams, an offseason signee that is at running back. But like spots like linebacker where, you know, I mean, obviously they've been old there, right? I mean, DeMario Davis is, you know, he's the leader and the heartbeat of the program and the franchise, but I mean, he's getting old, and you got to replace him. You got to replace that position. And you know, yesterday I was reading Nick Underhill's at NewOrleans.football, which is just incredible to keep up with New Orleans Saints news. And man, they have done a tremendous amount to their site, to their production team. They've got photographers at practice. They've got social media team. They've got podcasts that go up. They've got reporters. It's cool to see what's happening to New Orleans football. And this has always been a kind of the blueprint for us, man. They went out independent first here in Louisiana and kind of really started to pave the way for people like us to jump off and say, hey, look, there's a model that we can follow, and to look at what he's got going on now. Man, Nick he's got an army. He's got his production is fantastic. But reading his work yesterday, and he's also got the best relationships. The linebackers where they had on the field, which DeMarco Jackson, second-year player, Zach Vaughn, young guy, and Pete Werner, who finally looks like he's ready to stay healthy and stay on the field. Those were your three backers yesterday at OTAs. And I'm not saying that, that's going to be the starting unit. Obviously, they got some veterans in that group. But, you're starting to see some of the young faces starting to take place and get into their positions and get on the field. Foster Morrow was another positive sign of him being out there at practice. He wasn't just out at practice yesterday. He was participating in practice. I mean, this is just a little over a month after being diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, cancer, which they caught at thank God at a early enough time where it looks as if it'll be curable. But I mean, to see him out there, going through the drills, and then like I said, I mean, hearing Derek Carr speak about the relationship he has with Chris Olave, what he expects from Chris Olave, will be fun to see that chemistry grow. No Mike Thomas out there yesterday. No Taysom Hill. No Marshawn Lattimore. No Alvin Kamara. No Ramchick. No Demario Davis, like we said. No Andrus Pete. So, a lot of the older guys were not available, but, guys like Trevor Penning, who was a second-year offensive tackle, was out there. A lot of these new faces like running back Kendre Miller, who people are high on from TCU coming out. We mentioned Jamal Williams, but a lot of new faces with the Saints, including Carr, right? I mean, including, Derek Carr, who one thing that Nick pointed out that I think is, very much a positive sign is that, Carr's now making the calls. When they break the huddle the last 2 years, that's been the center, who's been making the protection calls, to be making the strong calls, the mic calls, all of, what kind of goes into setting the protection for the offensive line. Now you've got a veteran quarterback who has, a really big voice. He's got good leadership qualities, and, he's breaking the huddle, and he's aligning the offense. He's calling out protection. He's, setting the strong side. He's the one that's doing all the communicating, and that really, you could tell, you could tell that not surprised Nick Underhill by what Derek Carr was doing. It was just refreshing to see what Derek Carr was doing because, the last two seasons you've really had to babysit that position, in the sense of, you don't want to put so much responsibility on the quarterback because, you were concerned about more of what they had to do, what they had to, what they needed to execute. So, I mean, you just didn't want to overload them with information. So, it's good to see Saints have a veteran quarterback that, can handle all of the capacity of playing that position, right? From making the calls to making the reads to making the throws to, making the plays. So, that's just some small positive signs. Again, this is 90 minutes that you've seen of the Derek Carr era. It's not as if you've got this large sample size. But, he's out there, and like we said, man, this is a quarterback league. The winners in this league, usually when you look at the playoffs, the last team standings usually have the best quarterback. Patrick Mahomes is a Super Bowl champ. Joe Burrow was in the NFC Championship again. It's that's not coincidental, right? Or excuse me, the AFC Championship. again for
Oh,
Burrow.
watch out. They'll get you on Tiger droppings for that. They've
Um,
never let me live that down.
but but you look at the NFC, and look, full disclosure, I mean, I wasn't as high on the Derek Carr signing, right? I mean, I didn't know that was a good fit. I didn't think that it was going to happen. And, you know, I mean, it was a little underwhelming in the sense of the free agent pool and, you know, the Saints landing with Carr. Not to say that the free agent pool was that attractive. I didn't see a name out there that you know, really pulled you towards making a move. And then the Saints make the move, and you look up and the NFC is just barren of quarterbacks. I mean, there's no quarterback anywhere, no proven quarterback. Somebody may step up. You know, Jordan Love may get an opportunity in Green Bay, and he may make the most of it. And Green Bay's got a good roster. So, you know, I mean, it may not be that difficult for him to succeed there. But, I mean, you look around the NFC, and, I mean, Geno Smith, I mean, Kyler Murray. I'm looking for somebody that threat, you know, that's a threat. Desmond Ridder. I mean, Kyle Trask. Bryce Young. I'm just talking about the NFC South. I mean, what's the one that stands out? Derek Carr, Kyle Trask, Desmond Ridder, Bryce Young. I mean, advantage Saints. I mean, when you go down the NFC and you start blurting out the quarterbacks, I mean, I'm wondering and waiting on who's going to be that guy. Jalen Hurts went to the Super Bowl last year with the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay. Look, man, I got a lot of respect for Jalen Hurts. I got a lot of respect for the offense that they run. And, you know, I mean, he's somebody that Saints have to play their best to beat. But I don't mind taking Derek Carr to the fight to play against Jalen Hurts. Right? I mean, I don't think that you're that far off with Carr compared to Hurts. And if that's the leader of the NFC, I mean, who else is out there? I mean, really, I'm trying to think on anybody that would even threaten that. I mean,
I have high hopes, though, for Derek Carr. I'm excited to see what he can do.
No, I'm saying that I believe he's
Yeah.
going to be in a great spot. I mean,
He's gotta be.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I mean, Justin Fields.
Yeah, it is weird.
I mean,
Like, where are they all?
where are the NFC quarterbacks at? I mean, Matthew Stafford at 38.
Yeah.
I mean, Derek Carr and the Saints are sitting in a really good spot, at least from that standpoint. I mean, if you're just evaluating the league and the NFC from that standpoint, I mean, Dak Prescott.
Yeah. Go, Dak. We'll see. New season, some new faces.
Yeah, no. There's going to be some people that step up,
Have
right? I
to
mean, there'll
be.
be somebody that comes out of the darkness that you wonder, like, oh, well, we never thought that guy was going to be any good.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, at this point, I don't know who that guy is.
Yeah, I know.
Right? And, I mean, Stetson Bennett.
Oh, my God.
I mean, like, I mean, seriously, I got no idea. But, I mean, if you're telling me if it's just neutral and you throw all those quarterbacks on the board and say, give me the best NFC quarterback, I would say, give me Derek Carr. I mean, like, yes. You know what I mean? Like, if it's just on what we know now. So, Saints OTAs happening right now. First look at some of the rookies out there. They did have some news on Nick Saldiveri, who was the offensive line draft pick out of, I believe, Rhode Island. He had a calf strain that kept him out, so he wasn't out there as well yesterday. But like I said, we did see some guys and some new faces out there, including new quarterback Derek Carr working alongside wide receivers like Chris Olave, who seemed to have a really good day. All right, we're going to try and track down Jacques here. Before we get out of here we might have to get out of here a little early. We got a project that's happening out in Central that we're really excited about, man. As you know, we've been doing some digital media management and marketing for companies and businesses, and one of those is Central High School that we've been helping out. We're managing their social media from a high school standpoint. Make sure and check out their social. They just graduated another senior class out there, Principal Brandon LeGroux and the whole staff out there. Man, it's a cool environment. It's a cool place. It's a great school. We're doing a documentary on their spring football practices and just all the new stuff that's happening around Central, right? They just hired a new head football coach in David Semino. They've just got, Semino's bringing in, a lot of very well-respected staff members. He is, walking the halls and creating a buzz around football and around sports. And not only is he the Central head football coach, he's overseeing the athletics program in the community. So he's overseeing like the junior high sports and, kind of the feeder schools into Central. And their big saying is close the gates, right? They want to close the gates of Central and keep Central kids in Central. For instance, Shelton Sampson, who's a 5-star wide receiver at Catholic High School and just signed with LSU. He was one of, the top 2 or 3 wide receivers in the country in this last recruiting cycle. He's from Central. I mean, he grew up playing Central Biddy basketball. He went to Central middle schools. He played obviously in the Central programs as a kid growing up, and he ends up going to Catholic High School, which was great for Catholic High, and and was great for Shelton Sampson, and it all worked out. But Semino's got a big emphasis on keeping all of those kids at home in Central, and that's something that we're documenting. We're getting over there today and talking to some of the community members, some of the leaders on campus. We're going to do like a walk around with the principal. So it's a lot of cool stuff that we'll have some announcements around.
That'll be cool.
That we have coming up.
Well, they'll have something to watch. I just heard from Mikey, Jared, and Lloyd, and they recorded their episode of Mic'd Up, and they're dropping it at 7:30 this morning.
Nice.
So y'all will get that notification. You can tune in and watch that.
And we want to hand you off to a pregame show for LSU and South Carolina with Mic'd Up. So they're going to play that, kind of leading into, and rather than stepping on our own, our own brands, we want to kind of hand you off.
I thought you were going to say something else. I was like already laughing.
And get your head out of the gutter over there. And then we will, so we'll hand you off to them. They said 7:30?
Yeah, they said 7:30.
So they're going 7:30 to 9:30?
Yeah, I guess so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And then are they going to do post-game stuff? I guess. Are they going to hang out there and do post-game?
We need to ask him. Mark Cumbie, Jordy leaving early. Imagine that. Hey, Mark.
He just explained why.
Explained. Hayden Paris, damn, you're right. The NFC has no quarterback depth. I'm telling you, man. I mean, like, you just put them on the wall and you're like, wow, Saints are in a good spot, right? I mean, like, it's a quarterback league. The whole industry is driven by that position. Saints have one. Mm-hmm. For the first time since, Breeze is like second to last year, third to last, right at the end when Breeze, when right before his arm turned into a noodle, it was where he was a threat. That's what they have again.
Central Wildcats. I've never heard that.
Not for long.
No.
Not for long.
That's like a college over there. Like their facility and their program. It's amazing.
All right.
Mikey said they might do something on Twitter or something like that post-game. So we'll see how that goes.
All right, 7:30. Y'all switch over to Mic'd Up. Get over to Mic'd Up's YouTube. And we will lead you in. They will lead you in to LSU and South Carolina. Everybody has a link. If you don't have a link, you can go to our YouTube page and you can find the Mic'd Up page. But get over to Mic'd Up right now and you can find our pregame show for LSU South Carolina. with first pitch coming up at 9:30. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. We'll talk to Chris Blair. We'll probably move our Jacques report to Thursday as well. So have a great Thursday. Have a great Wednesday. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning.